Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bowling. Before I read this article out of the Daily Wire, I just want to say that it matters who you vote for. It matters who you vote for. It's not about race. It's not about personality. It's not about how good they look or any of that. It's about policies, whether on a local level, state level, or federal level. So I'm going to read this article out of the Daily Wire in reference to what I just said. And then I'm going to give you my full-orbed opinion about this whole matter. The article is entitled, Democratic Mayor Hires Convicted Sex Offender Who Raped Teenage Girls to Inspect Homes. And it says, the Democrat mayor of a town just south of Chicago hired a man who spent 24 years in prison for kidnapping two young teenage girls as a code enforcement officer. Right now, it's starting off crazy. On September 20th, Village records show Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard hired 46-year-old Lavelle Redmond as a code enforcement officer, a job in which he goes into Dalton homes and businesses to inspect them and make sure they are up to code, Fox 32 reported. Redmond, a registered child sex offender, is listed on the Illinois State Police Child Sex Offender Registry. In 1991, he participated in a gang rape and beating in the Roseland area. He and 3 other people kidnapped and sexually assaulted 2 girls ages 13 and 14, Fox 32 noted. Henyard, a single mom who grew up in Dalton, was elected mayor overwhelmingly in April with 82% of the vote, ABC 7 reported. After being sworn in, she stated, Dalton residents, I am reporting for duty. I grew up with safe streets and I did not have any problems. It was a suburb. I want to bring that back to Dalton. It's amazing how she makes this statement and yet does something that's a contradiction of just what she just said. Goes on to say, outraged female residents responded to the news of Redmond's hiring with quotes such as these, according to Fox 32. Crazy. I don't know. He won't get in my house, though, said one woman. I would be terrified to now know if he had come to my house to do a code inspection. I'll be terrified, said another woman. Yet another woman told the outlet, oh my God, don't they supposed to do background checks before they allow these people in these kind of positions? Fox 32 said that Henyard's spokesperson, quote, could not tell us if Redmond was still on the payroll or not, end quote. Last week, Dalton's trustees aired concerns regarding Henyard because former Cook County Circuit Court Clerk Dorothy Brown, who had been in charge of the nation's largest court system, and some of those employees had been charged with various crimes, stepped down from her position and then was hired by Henyard last May. Despite assurances that she was only hired for a transition period, some are concerned that she will end up staying in her new position. Although their protest came in October and Henyard had said Brown would be gone by November, the trustees were worried. Dalton trustee Jason House stated, we are 5 months into this administration. The position still has not been posted. No applications have been taken. I feel like I've been lied to about the transition of Dorothy Brown. And I'm going to end that article right there. You can read the rest of that article in the Daily Wire. And I have it posted in the description box below. But needless to say, this mayor, and I know this is kind of like an old article that an old incident that Daily Wire wrote. But this mayor that they hired, this mayor that got elected was, and I have to say it, an African-American female. And the article goes on to say that she was one of the first female, I think the first female African-American female mayor to be elected and chosen. So it seems to me that they're more concerned about gender and electing and appointing the first female into the position rather than safety. Now, here is a man that have served 24 years in prison for sexually assaulting 2 young ladies. Here's a man that clearly shouldn't be out on the streets. But yet we have individuals like this mayor who has been put in position who hold to the belief, like most liberal Democrats do, hold to the belief that people who have been brought up in negative circumstances and homes that were maybe have been abusive and they had it bad when they was coming up should be given a second chance. They should be given a slap on the wrist. They shouldn't be given as much time as some of us regular people or privileged people should. This is the idea that many of these liberal far leftist Democrats have. This is how they think. But this form of thinking, I believe, is detrimental to the country and detrimental to the cities and states that vote these people in office. Because what you end up doing, as we see here, you end up putting people out into the streets that ought not be out into the streets. Where I live right now, I live in Cleveland, Ohio. And Ohio is, from what I understand, the governor is a Republican. But many of the cities, such as the city of Cleveland, are Democrat. And for years, our mayors have all been Democratic mayors. And for years, and I'm not making this stuff up, years, we've had a high crime rate. We have a high crime rate right now. I was talking to a police officer, one of the police officers that I work with at Tower City, downtown Tower City, because as I said in one of my other videos, I work as a security officer at downtown Tower City. And we have a kind of like a deal with the police officers that come down there to Tower City, and they work with us to help us security officers do things that we couldn't normally do. And he was sharing with me how that one of the reasons we somehow got into a conversation about a lot of these criminals that's walking the streets, coming into Tower City, harassing females and so forth, shouldn't be out on the streets. And he told me right off the bat that one of the main reasons, if not the main reason for that, is because they let these guys out because of the policies of the people that are over our city. The policies of the mayor, the policies of the Senate and Congress that create these kind of laws that are really soft on crime. It matters who you vote for. A lot of the things that we deal with in our cities and in our states and in our countries is a direct result of the people, the leaderships that we put in office. We as Americans, I believe, have a responsibility to put the right people in office, whether they be Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative. I mean, history has shown that usually the Democrats are the ones that soft on crime. Tend to be. Not all the time, but for the most part, that seems to be the subject. So if you're someone that don't want to leave your house worrying about getting shot or worrying about getting raped or beat up by someone who's just been let out of prison or whatever, simply because some politician somewhere feels like that person should be given a second chance or whatever the case may be when they should still be in jail for serious crimes, like this guy that was just let out the group, then you better start voting for the right people in office, because quite frankly, the American people, we are the ones responsible on a local level, state level, or federal level, who we vote in office. Some people vote based on their particular political ideology, and they stick to that. They're a Democrat, they vote for Democrat. They're Republican, they vote for Republican. They don't really pay attention to the policies. They just say, this is a part of my political party, and I'm going to vote for them no matter what. And some people vote based on emotion. If the person looks good, if they talk good, if they look good, if they're very charismatic and so forth, I'm going to vote for this person. In fact, I was reading a study some years ago that stated that most people in America and in other countries vote based off of emotion and charisma. They don't vote based off of the policies of the person that they're voting for. They don't really care about the policies. They care about how good the person looks. They care about how good the person talks, how persuasive they are, how convincing they are, how they're able to put words together. That's why they vote for them. And they say, oh, yeah, I got to vote for this person. They vote for the person, get the person in office, and come find out the person was not concerned, or they had no concern about the people. They were more concerned about the special interest groups and the corporations that donated to their campaign. So now that they're in office, they could care less. But in addition to that, because they're voting based on emotion and voting based on charisma and personality, this person's policies may be very soft towards crime. And if this particular person is doing the voting, it's all about putting criminals in a prison where they're supposed to be and doing the time that they're supposed to be doing, and they vote for the person simply because they like how the person look, or they're from some particular gender. I'm gonna try to put the first black person in office, or the first woman in office, or the first transgender in office, and they're not concerned about the policies of the person. You get what you vote for. What I believe we're seeing on a local level, state level, and federal level is what we voted for. Now, as far as Biden's situation is concerned, that's a whole nother story. I don't believe he should even be in office. Neither him nor Kamala Harris. That's a whole nother story. I don't believe they won the election. I believe it was stolen, but that's a whole nother story, and I digress. I ain't even get into that. They're not, as far as I'm concerned, they're not even supposed to be in office. So I don't even consider them a part of the paradigm. Okay, but on a local level and state level, I believe that we are responsible for some of the people we put in office. What we see in our communities, all the evil and violence and so forth we see in our communities, is not just because moral principles have been taken out of the school and moral principles have been taken out of the government and so forth, and it's been replaced with what is known as situational ethics. You know, what's right for you is right for you, and what's wrong for you is wrong for you, and there's no definitive right or definitive wrong. It's not just that. Now people's minds and perceptions have been weakened. So when they vote based on feeling and emotion and charisma and personality and not policies. Let's be realistic, man. I believe that we have to be more careful about the people that we vote for and put in office. We're going to continue to get these type of actions. We're going to continue to get people that in on a local level, state level, federal level that are in office, okay, that are giving a slap on the wrist of these hardcore criminals and letting them out. I've read so many stories and heard of so many stories where people who were hardcore criminals were let out of prison and ended up going right back to a life of crime and ended up killing people. But because of the people that are in office, we have these problems. It matters who you vote for, as far as I'm concerned. If we say our votes matter, then we need to vote on a local level, federal level, and state level, the right people in office. If low crime matters to us, then we need to vote for politicians that believe in creating laws that will make sure that it restrain this type of activity. If we believe in low taxes or whatever, most people believe, let's be real. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, most people want jobs for the most part. They want good paying jobs. Well, it matters who you vote for. It matters who you vote for. That's all I'm going to say about that. Most people are against, if you be real with yourself, most people are against illegal immigration. Most people are against allowing thousands and thousands of illegal people who are coming in over the border illegally. Most people are against that. For the most part, whether they be Democrat or Republican. But guess what? When it comes time for voting, these politicians on the local level, state level, and federal level play the game with us all the time. They play the game with us all the time. They wave their magic wand over us and put masses and masses of people in a brainwashed, trance-like state where they're not thinking. Next thing you know, they put the vote in. Oh, this person was, I love the way she talked. I love the way he talked. They get in office, and guess what happens? You get the same results. You keep doing what you're doing. If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we get. We are responsible as the people to vote for the right people in office so that we can get the right results. And that's just my spin on that. And that's wanted to say that about that. We're going to continue to get this kind of activity if we, as American citizens, don't start shaping up and voting the right people in office. We vote the right people in office, we'll get the right results. So I just want to say that about this. I want to put my spin on that. What do you guys think? If you have any thoughts on that, put your words in the description box in the comment section below. Let's get engaged in a conversation here. What do you think about the article I just read? Do you think that's okay? Do you think that this person that was accused of this rape, and obviously he did it, do you believe he should have been let out? He served 24 years, but do you believe he should have been let out and appointed over a position? Now, get this now. He was appointed over a position that allowed him to go into people's homes to enforce something. Are you kidding me? Me personally, I disagree with it. But what do you think about that? Do you think that's okay, or do you think it's wrong? Please put your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe to this video. Thank you very much, and see you again on RCB News.